I discovered my son wasn't actually mine, but I'd already put him in my will, so I changed it. The blood test results came back on a Tuesday morning in March, delivered by a lab technician who had no idea she was about to shatter my entire world into a million pieces. 23 years of believing I was a father, 23 years of scraped knees and bedtime stories, soccer games and college tuition payments, all built on what turned out to be the biggest lie of my life. My ex-wife had been acting strange during our divorce proceedings 6 months earlier, making these weird comments about how I should be grateful for all the years we had together. She kept saying things like maybe it was time for both of us to start fresh, completely fresh, without looking back at anything from our past. The way she emphasized those words made my stomach churn, but I figured it was just her way of dealing with the end of our marriage. The doubts started creeping in when I noticed how different my son looked from me in our recent family photos. Sure, kids don't always look like their parents, but there was something about his facial structure, his mannerisms, even the way he laughed that reminded me of someone else entirely. It reminded me of her old friend from college, the one who used to come around a lot during the early years of our marriage. I convinced myself I was being paranoid, that the stress of the divorce was making me see things that weren't there. But the thoughts kept gnawing at me, especially during those long sleepless nights when I'd lie awake staring at the ceiling, wondering if everything I thought I knew about my life was actually true. The decision to get the paternity test wasn't easy, and I spent weeks going back and forth about whether I really wanted to know the truth. Part of me figured that ignorance might be bliss, that maybe some secrets were better left buried. But the other part of me, the part that valued honesty above everything else, knew I had to find out once and for all. Getting the test done without my son knowing was surprisingly simple, just a matter of collecting some hair from his brush and sending it off to a lab along with my own sample. The waiting period felt like it lasted forever, and I must have checked my email 100 times a day hoping for results. When the results finally came, they were definitive in the most devastating way possible. 0% probability of paternity. The report stated in cold, clinical language that somehow made the betrayal feel even more brutal. I read those words over and over again, hoping they would somehow change, but they remained stubbornly the same. My first instinct was to call my ex-wife immediately and confront her about the lies she'd been telling for more than 2 decades. I wanted to scream at her, to demand explanations, to make her feel even a fraction of the pain and confusion I was experiencing. But something held me back, maybe because I knew that conversation would change everything forever. Instead, I sat in my car outside the post office where I'd picked up the results, trying to process what this meant for my relationship with the young man I'd raised as my own son. He was about to graduate from college, had plans to get married next year, and still called me every Sunday just to check in and